They're both wives of princes who will probably never be king. Does that mean Meghan Markle and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, have a special bond? Well, it's certainly a unique relationship among royals. Meghan Markle and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, have had very different experiences of royal life, but the two women have similar pasts. Neither Meghan nor Sophie was born into the royal family, and both spent many years holding down jobs. Before marrying Prince Harry, Meghan dabbled in more than one industry. The Mirror notes that during her school-age years, the future Duchess of Sussex worked a minimum-wage job as an ice cream scooper. According to Esquire, she later tried her hand at professional calligraphy. Of course, Meghan ultimately made her name as an actress, with her biggest role on the TV series Suits. Sophie likewise worked in a number of different areas before becoming a royal. According to Britannica, Sophie worked as a bartender, a concierge at a Swiss ski resort, and a press officer at Capital Radio. Just like Meghan, Sophie eventually grew into a successful career woman. She co-founded a public relations firm. Neither Meghan nor Sophie could continue working after joining the royal family. Meghan left Suits in 2018 to focus on her royal role. The Wall Street Journal reported that Sophie tried to keep working, but was forced to abandon her PR firm 2 years after marrying Prince Edward. A leaked tape revealed that there were too many conflicts of interest between Sophie's business goals and her royal connections. Meghan and Sophie also have shared interests, especially when it comes to standing up for girls and women's rights. In an episode of The Royal Beat, Russell Myers, the Mirror's royal editor, noted Meghan and Sophie's common passion for women's empowerment. The similarities between Sophie and Meghan are there to be seen. Sophie's working with girls' education. She's done a lot of stuff about violence against females in Africa. According to CNBC, Meghan has been fighting for women's rights since she was 11. The Duchess served as a UN women's advocate for political participation and leadership. Although Meghan and Sophie share similar beliefs about women and girls, they have very different ways of promoting their activism, and they also reach different demographics. As Myers shared on The Royal Beat, are the Instagram generation going to be as obsessed with Sophie and Edward Wessex as they are with the Sussexes? Obviously not. The royal editor went on to hint that Sophie and Meghan might have even felt some rivalry over promoting the same causes. Meghan Markle is hardly the first person to have struggled with royal life. For years, royal newcomers including Princess Diana and Sarah Ferguson have felt overwhelmed by protocol, press attention, and public criticism. Like her predecessors, Sophie was not spared a challenging transition into the royal household. As body language expert Judy James revealed on the podcast Pod Save the Queen, Sophie had a bit of a bad start in the royal family because she was hailed as being the next Diana, and she did begin to attract the same rabid attention. In some ways, however, Sophie's experiences with the British media could have helped Meghan. According to the book Elizabeth, An Intimate Portrait by royal expert Giles Brandreth, Queen Elizabeth hoped that Sophie could mentor Meghan, but things didn't exactly pan out that way. Meghan wasn't keen on creating close ties with Sophie. Brandreth writes, Meghan made it clear that she did not feel she needed Sophie's help. She had Harry. It's possible that Meghan didn't initially understand the scope of her new responsibilities, or that she might need Sophie's mentorship. In the Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, the Duchess did ultimately lament her total lack of preparation.
There's no class in some person who goes sit like this, cross your legs like this, use this fork, don't do this.
Even without an official mentoring relationship, Sophie and Meghan seem to stay on good terms with one another. The Sun reported that following Meghan's 2018 wedding to Prince Harry, Sophie made a point of reaching out to the newly minted Duchess. An insider told the outlet, Sophie was one of the first to invite Meghan, on her own, to Bagshot for tea. Sophie and Prince Edward live at the royal residence at Bagshot Park. Sophie continued to appear at Meghan's side afterward, even as the Duchess of Sussex received criticism from the press. In 2019, when Meghan gave birth to her son Archie, the Duchess departed from the royal tradition of showing her newborn to the paparazzi on the Portland hospital steps, Yahoo Life notes. As the press roared at Meghan's dismissal of protocol, Sophie showed up in private for the new mom. The Times reports that the Countess was the first royal to go to see Meghan and Archie after his birth. As one source told the Times, Sophie is normal and empathetic in comparison to other members of Britain's most famous family. Perhaps one of the main reasons that Sophie continued to support Meghan was her own struggles adjusting to royal life. As Sophie revealed in an interview with the Times, she didn't fit in right away. confessing, "Certainly, it took me a while to find my feet." As royal biographer Ingrid Seward told the makers of the documentary Edward and Sophie, The Reluctant Royals,
Poor Sophie. The press followed her everywhere. They followed her coming out of her flat, walking down the steps. They followed her going to buy her lunch.
perhaps because of the intensity of those experiences, Sophie has taken an opportunity or two to defend the American actor. Sophie noted that Meghan had significantly less time to get acclimated to royal life when compared to other women in the firm, telling the Sunday Times that she'd had 5 years to adjust. But she said not even her amount of preparation guaranteed her a smooth transition. In the Netflix documentary Harry and Meghan, the Sussexes described feeling tension with other family members at royal events, such as the 2020 Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey.
And it looked cold, but it also felt cold.
This sense of frostiness also initially seemed present at Queen Elizabeth's funeral. Daily Mail royal editor Rebecca English wrote that Meghan looked decidedly self-conscious, adding, "There was something self-consciously awkward about her posture, demonstrating the depth of the rift between herself and the rest of the royal family." English noted that Sophie soon swooped in and offered Meghan a social lifeline, leaning toward Meghan to briefly converse. This gesture, while small, offered Meghan a sense of belonging at an event where she had otherwise few allies. Though Sophie and Meghan keep it civil, they're definitely not best friends. One anonymous insider divulged to The Sun that, from the very beginning, Sophie and Meghan didn't really click. After the pair's first tea together at Bagshot, Sophie understood that there was a distance between them. Part of this distance, according to the source, was Meghan's unconventional view of the royal family. The insider said, "Let's just say that Meghan seemed to have her own agenda." Body language expert Judy James told Express that the two women's postures indicate different personalities that don't indicate that they'd be natural friends. James explained, "Meghan is superbly confident in her own right, so it's important that Sophie shows no sign of pushing things if her advice or help isn't needed." However, James also said that there are signs that they could at least be allies, pointing out, "Their mirrored, synchronized body language often suggests they could also be rather like-minded about a lot of things." Indeed, Sophie is known as something of a peacemaker within the royal family. As one of her former aides told The Telegraph, Sophie often plays the role of mediator, making her a favorite of the late Queen Elizabeth. The aide added of Sophie, "She's down to earth and just gets on with it." When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle exited royal life in 2020, they also gave up their royal duties. That left a vacuum that had to be filled. Royal commentator Victoria Arbiter wrote in 9 Honey, "While there's widespread public support for the Sussexes' desire to embrace a more independent life, there's also no denying the irreplaceable void their absence will create." Arbiter explained that one of the biggest issues with Megxit is that the couple has left the firm without the fresh young royal faces that palace fans love so much, writing, "It's a stark reminder that, as we look to the future, William and Kate will be the only working royals of their generation." Though she's from a generation earlier, Sophie has stepped up her royal role to close the gap. The Mirror reported that Sophie will take on more royal duties, and she has inherited many of the late Queen Elizabeth's patronages. A royal insider told the outlet, "The Queen's decision to pass on these patronages to Sophie reflects the closeness of their bond." The same source also hinted at Sophie's expanding royal role, noting, "Sophie's growing popularity with the public is also evident, and she will take on a larger public profile in a new-look monarchy of King Charles." Following the Netflix series Harry and Meghan and the scandalous accusations that came from it, senior members of the royal family reportedly feel resentment toward Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Royal expert Katie Nicholl told Entertainment Tonight that Prince William is most likely struggling with everything that his brother alleged on the series, and that reconciliation is quite a long way away.
William will be taking this very personally. I think he's incredibly upset and feels very badly betrayed by his brother.
As for King Charles III, the new monarch is reportedly concerned that the rebellious couple has harmed the firm. One royal insider even told Us Weekly of the new king, while he's putting on a brave face, behind closed doors he's concerned that the docuseries will cause irreparable damage to the monarchy. In contrast to other royals, however, Sophie seems to wish Meghan and her husband well. As of the making of this video, Sophie hasn't made any statement pertaining to the couple's Netflix series. In a rare 2020 interview with The Times, Sophie did express her feelings about Harry and Meghan's choice to distance themselves from the royal family, saying simply, "I just hope they will be happy."